What's up, guys? Nolan here. The patch notes for patch 13 just dropped because in case you didn't hear yet, the wipe is going to be today. This is absolutely missing some stuff as it seems to just plot out the big stuff that they aren't keeping secret. It literally doesn't mention Lightkeeper at all. And on top of that, I'm going to skim through this, but I will link the full list in the description so that you can check it out for yourself. So first things first, of course, there is Streets. Streets Part 1 will be in this patch. They put a long description here, which the details I'll get into in my Streets specific video, but it does a good job describing the atmosphere of the location and a bit about how it got the way that it is. Repair kits got changed up quite a bit. BSG showed this off a while ago where using repair kits will have a chance to enhance the object that they are repairing. The enhancements vary, so we'll see what effect it has on the meta or maybe non-meta weapons, body armor, and plate carriers going forward. Speaking of armor, there's new skills for it, light and heavy. When leveled, they reduce the penalties to mobility, the amount of wear on the item when repairing them, and they reduce blunt damage. Charisma was changed as well. It now affects the price of insurance, paid extracts, replacing daily and weekly tasks, the prices of the scav box, and the price of medical assistance from therapist after a quote-unquote bad raid. Underbarrel grenade launchers are in. We have the GP25 and the M203, both workhorses for their respective weapons. GP25 being for the AK if you have the right item to attach it, and the M203 being for the M4 platform if you have the right item to attach it. Something about a handguard, maybe a barrel. No mention of being able to mount the GL40, at least yet, so this might be all we're getting for underbarrels. Nikita has discussed something like this in the past around weapon conversions, where people were wondering, since 300 Blackout and 5.56 were in the game, if you could take a 300 Blackout barrel and put it on a 5.56 weapon, where at the time Nikita did say that they weren't going to do that, they were just going to have different weapons. So that might be what we're seeing here with the GL40, the GP25, and the M203. The GL40 might stay a standalone grenade launcher, even though IRL you can swap that onto a Picatinny rail on the bottom side of a handguard for, I think, any rifle that has it, but it was made for the SCAR. So if you guys do get your hands on the GL40, just see if anything's changed with it. The SR2M Varesk submachine gun in 9x21 has been added. This might actually be pretty nasty. That round can hit pretty hard and this shoots pretty fast, so we'll see. The long-awaited AUG variants are in, both A1 and A3. 5.56 was left in a bit of a weird spot, so we'll see if this ends up being any good. The Glock 19X and the RSH-12 are in as essentially just another 9mm Glock, but tan this time, while the RSH-12 is a revolver that shoots ASH-12 ammo. That is 50 caliber ammunition. That should be insane. We got some new settings for group offline with no energy or water drain, so you don't have to worry about food and water if you select this. There's new bot configurations where you can finally just remove them completely and mess with their difficulty, just like you can in solo. You can also select spawn points, which is cool, including everyone together, same locations as online, or two teams where the groups are separated on spawn. Your run-of-the-mill stuff for offline play in any other game, but the first iteration didn't have stuff like this, so it's good to see. You can also choose the weather now for offline group. You can choose the weather now as well, clouds, rain, fog, and wind, all a choice now, as well as the exact time of the raid. They mentioned more will come in terms of functionality on top of all this stuff. Now for the hideout, we got a lot. 2 new upgrades for the firing range, including moving targets and a training program. That is cool. If any of you guys are able to get this, put it up on the Discord or at me on Twitter. Speaking of, we are going to have a new information hub set up on the Discord, so if you want to keep up with everything new that's going to be popping up with this patch, join the Discord, link below. Bit of a weird thing here, nothing on the gym for the hideout yet. Not sure what's up with that. I mean, maybe it's possible BSG weren't joking about the pump like Tagilla stuff. Maybe we actually need to do that more often, although I've seen a whole bunch of people post about that, so maybe it's not enough. I don't actually know what's going on with that. And in case you're out of the know, a while back BSG posted about the gym being added to the hideout, and in order to get it quicker, we would need to take part in this campaign that they were doing about pump like Tagilla, where you would take a video in some kind of Escape from Tarkov memorabilia or cosplay or something like that and be working out. Not a bad campaign, especially if, you know, if it's getting people healthy and stuff like that. I just don't know if it's now like holding the gym from the hideout hostage because not enough people are doing it. I don't actually know what's going on with that. It's possible it's just not done yet. There are 5 new stims being added. Obdobos 2, so better Obdobos, maybe no downsides like we had in the event for this. SJ12, which we already know is anti-thermal stimulants. It will make you less visible by thermals. I am going to completely butcher the names of the rest of these, so bear with me. Perfeotorin, aka blue blood. We're just going to call this blue blood from now on. A blood substitute with the function of oxygen transfer, used as a powerful antidote capable of relieving toxins, poisons, and radiation damage. Once in the blood, it temporarily speeds up the metabolism and regenerates tissue. Negatively affects health in case of overdose or rejection. Very interesting they chose to add the word overdose there. For those that don't know, addiction to pain medications in game was something that BSG have talked about for a long time now. I'm not saying it's in this patch, but maybe just pay a bit of a close attention to see if skills are changing or something if you start to use a lot of these new stims or pain medication a lot. Just look out for it. Although I have to be honest, if they were going to add something like that in the game, I feel like they would have said something in the patch notes, and they didn't end up saying that. So probably not. Either way, they must be adding this stimulant that helps remove toxin, poisons, and radiation damage for a reason. So watch out what you're walking into now, especially when you're checking out what's going on with Streets of Tarkov. A lot of crazy shit can be in there. Tremadol, which is just G Fuel for Navy SEALs basically, which makes you crazy strong and focused. PNB, which seems to also be, a lack of a better word, a shield. It allows you to take more damage and heals you while doing it. There are new voice lines for Killa, Tagilla, Knight, Bird Eye, and Big Pipe. Apparently Killa's is quite funny, so post that online if you get a clip. While on the subject of bosses, keep in mind it's possible that BSG are going to mess with the spawn rates of these bosses. They have done that in the past, so just keep that in mind if your intended strategy was to go and farm a specific boss. It's possible that they're even more rare than usual, but it's only possible. For all I know, they'll spawn constantly. Hey, maybe they'll bug out and they'll spawn constantly, even if that wasn't the plan. We won't know until we go and check, so we'll see what happens. A general list of changes includes rebalance to weapon mastering, rebalance to trading and pricing, as well as additional barter items, rebalance to conditions and rewards in old quests and new ones. I'm having to speculate a little bit here, but this says some quests in chains become unlocked after a period of time. This either means that we have to wait after completing some tasks to get a new one, or if some require you to reach a certain level before you can get the next one, just after a certain amount of time, it just gives it to you anyway. If it is the latter, that's actually really cool, because I don't think that levels really should actually matter much in terms of progression, but that's just my opinion. In my mind, if you completed one thing and the trader still wants to work with you, then they should be able to give you the next thing. Here's a big one. The spawn points of some quest items have been changed, so get ready for a scavenger hunt like the good old days. However, it might not be that difficult. It sounds like they might be in the same general location. Bit boring if they actually are, but okay. So if you're going to go look for the USB or the gold pocket watch or whatever it might be on day one here, it might not be in the exact same spot. It might be on the other side of the truck, on the other side of the shelf, maybe on the other side of the room, something like that. Just give the general location a once over if you're looking for those items. Also, with the tasks themselves, make sure you fully read through it and see if there's any new hints in there. Some recipes in the hideout are now quest rewards. You will need to complete quests in order to craft certain items, not just have the station built in your hideout. No mention of having to read books or anything yet, so it's possible that that's not a thing, or at least yet. A new type of exit on streets where you will need to fire a green flare, otherwise you will be shot by snipers when approaching that specific exit. Interesting here, because I wonder if that's the only place that we'll see that. Looking at you, Zerachi, and Lightkeeper, of course, there on the Lighthouse Island. The second that you get a green flare, please go to Lighthouse and see if they allow you to cross that bridge and let me know. Thank you very much. There's going to be a list of favorites for crafts, as well as, thank God, a search list for them for those crafts in the hideout. AI will now have weapon malfunctions, and they seem to have, quote, improved the behavior of the rogue bosses. I am not certain if that means they are easier or harder to fight, or they just move differently. I guess we're going to have to find that one out the hard way. FSR 2.1 is in for those that are interested, but step the fuck aside everybody else, because guess what? Steam audio has been completely removed and replaced with Oculus audio. Those audio changes are in. The sound positioning system changes will be noticeable regardless of binaural sound or not, but they do recommend we still enable binaural sound, and this is still a work in progress in terms of locations. Only factory, customs, woods, and thankfully Streets of Tarkov will have this entire new audio positioning system specifically. I'm speculating here again, but I believe that is because of how this new system works. The devs need to manually go and place audio emitters or something. Don't quote me on that word exactly. I don't know if it's called an emitter. It's something in engine where they need to manually go and place that at each of the locations, like at each doorway, at each level of a staircase and stuff like that. This isn't something that's just a blanket fix to like the engine or the game in general. It's a system where they need to go location by location, so it will take a lot more time to get ready. At least we'll be able to give feedback on it for now, and the locations that they have chosen to start with are great locations. Really like that they did it with Streets of Tarkov here. Then at the end, there's a big list of fixes. Check that out for yourself there, but I'll put it up on screen. Otherwise, that's all they wrote for us. You may notice no PMC Karma or Lightkeeper mentioned here. I have to admit, I really think those two PMCs waving at each other in that trailer for the patch was meant to be a tease to PMC Karma. If you have any idea why the hell they would be doing that, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I really do believe that that's a heads up at the very least announced that it's coming soon, but I don't think that they would leave something like PMC Karma out of the patch notes if it was in the game right now, so I don't think it's in here. Just in case though, really pay attention when you shoot someone from the same faction, see if anything pops up on your screen when you do that. Lightkeeper, they of course are keeping secret, but we know there will be a line of tasks required to meet him, and we're gonna have to figure all that out for ourselves. Starting with that green flare to see if they let us cross the bridge when you shoot it. I'm very interested in that specifically, especially where that exit is on streets. Probably won't end up being that easy. You're probably gonna die, so don't bring your best stuff when you go and you test that, but you know, science bitch, go check it out. And that's gonna do it for the patch notes, guys. The patch itself should be live around 7:30 a.m. EST, but they might need longer to get that ready. There has been times where they've wiped the game. They said they needed 6 or 7 hours, and it ended up being more like 10 or 11 before the game was ready. So just keep that in mind. Either way, we should be walking through the streets of Tarkov by tonight. This is the first of many videos covering this patch, so for the latest information, turn the notifications on for YouTube here. Follow me on Twitter or join the Discord. We will have a new information hub set up on the Discord to collect all this, but that is all for now, guys. I'm going to try and sneak in a nap before the patch actually drops. You know the drill. Like the video if you do, subscribe for more like it, and jump into the comments to tell me one last time that Streets is never going to release. Before you know it, it does release. The content that you see on screen will be the latest information that I have on the patch. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Good luck out there on day 1 of the wipe, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.